Paul Willis.
Present, Your Honor. He's on there. I think he's trying to go to
Paul
a room
Willis.
at work.
Like this, like.
He's muted and I don't see him. All I see is the name.
Yeah, he's at work. It showed him earlier walking. I think he's going to a room to talk to us, but he hasn't come back on yet.
All right, Todd.
He's there somewhere.
MTR.
There he
Eric
is.
Ruiz.
There he is.
Eric Ruiz.
I'm going upstairs, but what's it called? When
Your
I
Honor.
get right there, what's it called? Can I get back to you?
Eric Ruiz.
Here, Your Honor.
Where are you?
In the courtroom.
In my courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Courtroom. And Juan Amaya. Juan Amaya.
He's in the courtroom, Judge. He's walking up right now.
Right here, Your Honor.
Already. All right, well, those people that I mentioned, please raise your right hand. Mr. Velez, do you have your right hand lifted? Paul Velez? Todd, I'm not gonna be able to do it if he doesn't answer and I can't see him. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'll try to get a hold of him.
All right. Do each of you, let's see, we've got Brenda Nava,
Yes, sir.
okay, you got your hand up. Paul Velez, let's see if we can do it. Ms. Blackman,
Yes, sir.
Maya. Do each of you solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Mr. Amaya.
Yes, Your Honor.
All righty.
Hi, mommy.
Mr. Ruiz.
Yes, Your Honor.
Velez, please. Paul Velez, have you responded? Okay, we're gonna eliminate Mr. Velez, I'm sorry. Ms. Blackman and Mr.
Yes.
Nava.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may put your hand down. Each of you has been charged with the violation of the law, and it is obvious that you intend to submit a plea to a negotiated agreement that you made with the state. Before we do that, I need to make real clear to you that you have certain constitutional rights and protections that you should be aware of. I believe you've already been made aware of them, but I want to make sure. First of all, you have the right to remain silent. That means that each of you individually cannot be required to make any kind of statement, to answer any questions, to submit written paperwork that has your signature, especially papers that have admission or confession to wrongdoing. Each of you has a right to a jury trial. That means that each of you individually with your attorney and working with the state could select 6 people, 6 disinterested citizens from a pool of disinterested citizens. And those 6 people would sit and see and hear any and all evidence, if any, and those 6 would decide whether you're not guilty or whether you've been proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. That's the right to a jury trial. Each of you has the right of confrontation. What that means is if you go to trial, each of you and your attorney would have the right to question, cross-examine, or challenge any witness who testifies in your case. That's called the right of confrontation. Each of you has the right of appeal. That means that you, yourself, your attorney, or the two of you together could demand that a higher court review the official record and the evidence in your particular case for whatever legal challenge you wanted to make. I caution you that if you try to do this by yourself, it's difficult to do because you have particular and specific time limitations. You also have particular documents and information that you have to put in. Be careful. It is an important right, but I need to caution you to be careful about trying to do it by yourself. It is certainly your right. Each of you, and in your particular cases, individually, the state also has the right to demand that this matter be held, this hearing be held in the open public courtroom with everyone present, including myself, the state, any witnesses, the jury, everybody. Because of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, we're not doing open public courtroom hearings at this time. Hopefully we will in the near future. But at this time, in order to proceed, each of you has signed a document that's titled Consent to Video Conference. This video conference by computer is being streamed live on YouTube. Nonetheless, it is not in the open public courtroom, as I mentioned. Do each of you understand that you have these rights and protections as I have mentioned to you? Is there anyone that is confused or does not understand what I have just said? All right.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All of you have, in order to proceed, all of you have signed documents. Before you signed these documents that are part of the record, did each of you review these documents with your attorney before you signed them? Ms. Blackman?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr.
Yes, Your
Velez?
Honor.
Okay, Mr. Velez? Mr. Nava? Brendan Nava?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Ruiz?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Amaya?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I apologize that I'm having to be a little bit slow because these papers have been prepared over the last several weeks. And I had prepared them in my book here that I'm recording them in. So I'm having to go back and forth among several sheets back to the 14th of February. All right, now, each of you has also signed a document that is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. That document, in there, I certify to each of you that because you're making your own deal, your own agreement, you give up the right of appeal. Also, there's a very critical document that is titled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. I have talked to you about the constitutional rights and protections that you have. This particular document reminds you that you're giving up those rights in order to proceed with this plea agreement. Anyone have any doubts or have any questions about that document?
No, Your Honor.
All right, each of you has also applied for probation in one form or the other. Probation is a written legal binding agreement between you and this court. The bottom line is that as long as each of you lives up to the 100% of the conditions of supervision, then you will not go to jail. And those that get deferred adjudication, I don't even find you guilty of the charge to which you're entering a plea. If any of you fail or refuse to live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, then what happens is the state will ask me to give you official notice, bring you in for a hearing, and if, in my opinion, the evidence supports it, I can revoke your probation for those that got probation and send you to jail. If you got deferred adjudication, I can enter a final conviction that follows you the rest of your life. And I will be looking at 100% from zero all the way to the maximum fine and 0 days all the way to the maximum jail time. All right. Let's start off with Mr. Nava.
Yes, Your Honor.
You were originally charged with DWI second. Does the state have a motion on Mr. Nava?
Yes, Judge, the state would move to waive and abandon that second enhancement allegation.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. There being no objection, I grant the motion. Mr. Nava, let me explain to you very quickly. The fact that you're now charged with DWI first does not eliminate the fact that you are charged, you have been going through 2 different DWI arrests. And in addition, if you get arrested a 3rd time, you will be looking at a felony charge. Don't kid yourself that because it's DWI first that you're okay. Another one would be a DWI second. It is not. You'd be looking at felony DWI. Is that clear, Mr. Nava?
I understand, Mr.
All right. To the charge of DWI first or misdemeanor B, how do you plead, sir?
No context.
A no contest plea is considered a guilty plea. Do you understand that? And that is sufficient by itself for me to find you guilty. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have children you support?
Yes, Your Honor.
How many? And the
2.
age? 2
18
children.
months, 19 months.
All right. What are the ages?
19 months.
They're twins?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, congratulations. My wife and I had the blessing of raising twin daughters. All right. Based on your plea and the evidence, Mr. Nava, I find you guilty. State, would you recite into the record what is the agreement that has been reached between you and the defense?
Yes, sir. The agreement is for a $500 fine, court costs, 180 days, Bexar County Jail, suspended and probated for 16 months, 60 hours of service, DWI intervention course, the victim impact panel live, TAP evaluation, portable alcohol monitor for half the term, and $50 Crime Stopper fee.
Explain to me why we're using PAM and not ignition interlock, please.
Your Honor, if I may, my client has the ignition interlock on his father's truck. And last week, the father called me saying my client will no longer be able to use his vehicle. So that's why we're asking for the portable device, Judge. I would ask if I could draft an affidavit of non-ownership, no driving for my client unless he has specific permission to drive from County Court 5.
All right, Mr. O'Donnell, I want you to provide an affidavit from the father that he will not allow access to Mr. Nava to Mr. Nava's father's truck.
Very well, Judge.
All right, based on that, is this the agreement on punishment, Mr. O'Donnell?
It is, Judge.
Mr. Nava, is this your agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. Stone, do you, either of the 3 of you have any questions?
No, sir.
The court approves the agreement as recited into the record. What is your total income, Mr. Nava?
It's about 1,700, sir.
All right, and do you live with your children?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does the mother of the children work outside the house?
Your Honor, she door dashes.
And about how much does she make in a month?
About 300. She makes enough to make the car payment, basically.
You're talking about 300 monthly?
Yes, Your Honor.
What's wrong?
How does she do DoorDash? Does she have a vehicle?
It's her own personal vehicle, Your Honor. That's how she drives me to work since my driver license has been suspended.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Yes, Your
Ron
Honor.
O'Donnell, I'll want an affidavit from the lady saying that she will not allow Mr. Nava during the duration of this probation to
She's
drive
right
her
here.
vehicle.
Do you need it?
Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll draft that.
All right. Because of the minimum income, the court will probate 150 of that $500 fine. Your supervisory fee will be set at $29 a month.
This is Sandra.
Is that clear, Mr. Nava?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you will stick around, all of you that are entering a plea, you'll have 1 week to come into the offices of County Court at law number 5 for the purpose of having your thumbprint placed on the official documents as required by law. Is that clear, Mr. Nava?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the rest of you, I'll remind you that you need to do that too.
Excuse
Also,
me,
do not leave this proceeding, Mr. Nava, until you have met with Ms. Maricela Luna. She is what's called a CLO. She will get you started on the probation program. And all of you be aware that at the probation office, they will read to you the conditions of supervision. You will sign them and you'll have a copy in your hands. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Paul Velez has been removed from today's plea. Reset that, Linda.
Yes, Judge.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
excuse me, Judge.
All right, Eric Ruiz.
Yes, Your
Eric
Honor.
Ruiz.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ruiz, you were originally arrested and charged with DWI second. You and
Yes, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Reyes have reached an agreement. State, you have a motion on the DWI second.
Yes, Your Honor, the state is going to waive and abandon the enhancement, and we're going to proceed on a DWI first.
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay. That being the case, the court grants the motion. Mr. Ruiz, you're now charged at this time with DWI misdemeanor B. As I mentioned in the previous case, that doesn't mean you're not going to have 2 cases on your record. Another third one means a felony charge, state prison. Is that clear, Mr. Ruiz?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. To that charge of DWI misdemeanor B, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Plea of guilty. Did anyone threaten you, intimidate you, or promise you anything other than the agreement you reached in exchange for your plea of guilty?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Do you have children?
No, Your Honor.
And what is your total income?
My total income kind of varies, but mostly about $3,900 a month.
All right, sir. Okay. You have pled guilty. Based on your plea and the evidence, I find you guilty. State, recited to the record the agreement that's been reached between you and the defense on punishment.
180 days probated for 20 months, $800 fine plus court costs. 60 hours of service, DWI intervention, impact panel live, TAP evaluation and follow recommendations, ignition interlock for 1/2 the term.
Okay, you got ahead of me a little bit. 60 hours community service restitution. DWI intervention,
Yes, sir.
and then what?
Victim impact panel live.
I got you, VIP live. All right,
And
Tap.
then, I'm sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Judge. Go ahead, Judge.
after the VIP live or dip live, you have tap and then ignition interlock. Is that correct?
For 1/2 the term, yes, sir.
Yes, I have the. Okay, Mr. Arguelles, is this the agreement you have reached on behalf of your client?
It is, Your Honor, but the state was going to probate half of the fine.
Okay, you mean they're gonna recommend it, because I probably will not accept it.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Mr. Ruiz, as of right now, is this the agreement that's been reached on your behalf?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I accept the agreement except for the fine. I will not reduce that fine. You have no children to support. You've got a significant income. You're not rich, but you're not poor either, far from it. Your supervisory fee, I will set at $47 a month. And I approve and accept all the other recommendations that have been made on your punishment, including the ignition interlock, which as of right now is a minimum of 10 months.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now I say minimum because if you screw up, then I can extend the amount of time on the interlock. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good luck to you. Stay out of trouble. I want you to come in and give us your thumbprint, and don't leave until you've met with Ms. Maricela Luna, who will get you started on probation.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused to go back so you can get that thumbprint signed?
Mr. Arguelles, you are excused.
I need to speak to Mr. Luis, please. Or Linda, can you put me in a breakout room? Oh, you're on mute.
Miss Luna, this is a deputy. If he goes to a breakout room, then the judge is not going to have contact with Mr. Amaya. Do you want him done at the same time?
No, if I can just get his phone number. Well, I don't know how to do this.
Actually, I have it on the personal data sheet. I can give
Okay,
it.
yeah, just I'll call you later, Mr. Luis.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
May we be excused, Your Honor, then?
After you've got everything done, yes. Ms. Blackman,
Yes, Your Honor.
all right, you were originally charged for DWI with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher, commonly known as driving while extremely intoxicated. State, do you have a motion on that charge?
Yes, Judge, the state is going to move and abandon the extreme intoxication enhancement and proceed on DWI first.
No objection, Your Honor.
I would think not. You're waiving the charge of extreme intox, proceeding on DWI first. All right, there being no objection, the court grants that motion. Ms. Blackman, you have the good fortune of having a lawyer that's able to get this down to DWI first from extreme intoxication. I'm not certain that I like that, but the fact is that it's an agreement and I will honor that agreement. To that charge, ma'am, how do you plead?
Guilty, sir.
I'm sorry?
Guilty.
Did anyone threaten you or intimidate you or promise you anything other than the agreement in exchange for your plea of guilty?
No.
I accept your plea of guilty. What else is there going to be on this, state?
The state recommends you find the defendant guilty, sentenced to 180 days, Bear County Jail, probated for a term of 12 months, no early termination, $500 fine plus court cost, 48 hours of community service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, TAP eval, and follow recommendations, and 6 months of ignition interlock.
Is this the agreement, Mr. De La Paz?
Most of that, Your Honor, and whenever you're ready, I've got a couple of things to address.
All right, I'm ready to hear you. But first of all, Ms. Blackman, do you have children you support?
No, sir.
Children, and what are their ages?
They're grown adults, sir. I don't support them anymore.
You have adult children?
I do, sir.
You fooled me. You don't look like you'd have adult children, but that's back to life. All right. And what is your total income from all sources?
I no longer work, but my husband works. We get about $5,000 a month.
Okay, that's household income, but you are at zero, which makes you unable to pay the big fine that they might throw at you. All right, Mr. De La Paz, I will hear you on whatever it is you want to address.
Thank you, Your Honor. I hope I'm not catching the prosecutor off guard, because my negotiations were, I don't know if it's the previous prosecutor with Ms. Haas. I had expressed to them that I was going to be asking for less time on probation. A couple of reasons. She has already done the DWI education class and the victim impact panel. It is prepared to buy out the community service hours if Your Honor finds fit for her to do that. And I think the broader issue, Your Honor, everybody suffers a different fate. And so Ms. Blackburn is no different from people that have had to face these types of issues, but she had a long, distinguished career. I say that she looks about 21, but she's actually done a number of things and lost that career. A lifetime of a career she lost because of this. And as she mentioned, so she's no longer working. She's trying to go into a different field. She's going to have to go through some schooling for that. So and she'll have to disclose her background. The issues arise as she's on probation. There may be some more wait time for her to get into that field. And based on those reasons, Your Honor, we'd ask for less. I don't have anything to recommend to the court, Your Honor. I know in your wisdom, you'll assess everything I've said. I trust your judgment.
Your Honor, the state is going to object to the reduction of probation. Granted, we all do stupid stuff, but Ms. Haas was kind enough to waive the extreme intoxication. So I'd ask you to leave it at 12 months, please.
Well, Your Honor, that would be against what Ms. Haas and I talked about. She made that recommendation, and I spoke to her directly that I was going to ask for less, and she was okay with that. But she said she was going to remain at the request of 12. I don't know if we need to reset.
I hear your request. What was her prior career?
Your Honor, she had a government job, and she was in law enforcement prior to that.
Okay. What were you asking for by way of cutting down the amount of probation?
Your Honor, because of the schooling she's got, anywhere between the 8 to 10 month mark to allow her to, so she should be finished this year if everything goes well and we don't have any other pandemic issues. She should be done with that school, and then by that time they'll have to do the background checks. If she can be done with probation, at least she can get a certified copy of the judgment and show that she's done with it and no longer on it.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and reduce it to 10 Make it 9 months, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
However, I will increase the fine to $750.
Understood, Your Honor.
I will also authorize donation in lieu of CSR hours at the rate of $12 an hour for any and all hours that she wants to donate. I prefer that the donation be done to the Gabriel Project, but Ms. Blackman can decide or on her own that she can opt to donate to the San Antonio Food Bank instead, but my preference is Gabriel Project. Your supervisory fee will be set at $47 a month. Otherwise, the court approves the rest of the agreement. I will note for the record that Mr. De La Paz, as an officer of the court, has informed me that he had previously negotiated the slight reduction in the amount of time for probation. I've never had reason to question Mr. De La Paz's truthfulness. I know the state objects to it at this point, but I will accept that his word is true. Now, Ms. Blackman,
Yes, Your Honor.
I know that you have suffered the humiliation of having to go through this process. And now in front of a judge that you've never seen or met, and are being granted a punishment because of a terrible mistake that you made. Let me just suggest to you that it could have been a lot worse, because if a person is driving while extremely intoxicated, and I know that was reduced, you're also very much in danger of killing innocent people.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you kill yourself in that kind of a condition, everybody will be mortified. Oh, gee, wow, she was a wonderful person and she suffered a death from intoxication. But worse than that is when innocent people are the victims. I hope, maybe even pray for you, that you keep that in mind in the future. If you're going to drink, I hope you don't drink at all. But if you're going to, don't drive.
Yes, sir.
Because much worse than this humiliation would be, as I said, the killing of an innocent person. I'm going to be a little bit indiscreet and ask you, how old are you, ma'am?
49.
All right. I need you to understand that if you're driving intoxicated and kill somebody, some old man like me or some innocent little child, you'd be looking at a 20-year prison sentence. And the juries regularly hand those down. So you'd be looking at prison until you're right at 70 years old. Not something you want to think about or do. Please give that some serious consideration. Where does your husband work? Sounds like he's got a pretty nice job.
He's at a car dealership.
He's what?
He works at a car dealership.
Okay. All right. Then good luck to you, ma'am. Do not leave this proceeding until you've met with Marisela Luna. She'll get you started on the probation program. Stay safe.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Maybe excused.
Yes, sir, you're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. Stay safe.
Mr. Amaya.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's see, did I do Mr. Ruiz yet? Eric Ruiz? Yeah, we did Mr. Ruiz.
Yes, sir. You've already done Mr. Ruiz.
The only one left is Mr. Amaya. In 664505, Mr. Amaya, you were charged with DWI misdemeanor B, is that correct? Ray?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And State, do you have any motion on that?
No, Your Honor, we're going to proceed as charged in the information.
So he's going to plead on DWI misdemeanor B?
Correct.
Mr. Ruiz, to the charge of misdemeanor B, DWI, also known as DWI first. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Did anyone threaten you, intimidate you, or promise you anything in exchange for your plea of guilty other than the plea bargain?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And is there going to be anything on the recommendation regarding deferred?
Yes, Judge, 12 months of deferred adjudication.
All right. Mr. Amaya, you're fortunate that Mr. Lopez got you an agreement for deferred adjudication. What that means is, although you pled guilty, in the evidence, I find it based on your plea and the evidence, that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. Instead, I will honor the agreement at this point to grant you deferred adjudication, which means that as of now, I do not find you guilty. I may in the future, and I'll explain that shortly. The court will grant you 12 months deferred adjudication on your plea of guilty. State, recite for the record the agreement on punishment.
No early termination of community supervision, $800 fine plus court costs, 60 hours of service.
60?
Yes, sir, 60.
Okay.
DWI education program, victim impact panel live, TAP evaluation and follow recommendations, ignition interlock for 6 months.
Thank you.
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Amaya, do you have children you support?
No, Your Honor, they're all men, but I have 3 of my boys are living with me.
They're what?
They're living with me. They're all men, adults, but I got one that is not working. The one's working, the other one's in Social Security. But they're all men, Your Honor.
Okay. The one that's on Social Security, does he have mental or physical challenges?
Yes, he does, Your Honor.
Okay. So that means that you help support him in addition to what Social Security does?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And what is your total income from all sources?
In a month, it's about 3,000, Your Honor.
All right. I accept the recommendation as submitted by the court, by the state rather. You are granted 12 months deferred adjudication. You are fined $800 plus court costs. You're responsible for 60 hours of community service restitution. There'll be no early termination application. You will perform and complete the DWI education program, the Victim Impact Panel Live. You'll submit to a TAP evaluation, and the recommendations you will perform subject to my approval or disapproval. You will have ignition interlock installed in your vehicle for a continuous 6 months. During the entire probation, you're not to drink any alcohol, and you're not, for the 6 months, you're not to drive, the 6 months of ignition interlock, you're not to drive any other vehicle other than your own that's equipped with ignition interlock. Your supervisory fee will be $34 a month. Do not leave this hearing until you've met with Ms. Marisela Luna. She'll explain the probation process, get you started.
Judge, regarding the ignition interlock, my understanding is that Mr. Maya currently does not have a vehicle. We can submit an affidavit of non-driving to the court, and we're asked that March Start mobile device be authorized in lieu of the ignition interlock.
What happened to the vehicle that you were driving when you were arrested, Mr. Amaya?
It was total, Your Honor. I never got a vehicle. They ended up paying it off for the insurance, to the insurance. And then I never got a vehicle from there. I'm mostly on the bus, or I get a ride from my son to work, or he picks me up, or I take the bus.
don't think so.
I'll need a, Mr. Lopez. Ray Lopez, I'll need appropriate affidavits to support that under oath. It will be on Trujillo that submits an affidavit that's false. Be careful with that, Mr. Amaya.
Yes, Your Honor.
The court will order in lieu of ignition interlock, the portable alcohol monitor. Somebody.
Your Honor,
Something.
I got a question, Your Honor. I'm a crew leader. I drive a truck at work, and I work in Fort Sam, Houston. I work for Google, but they have contracts in there. That's gonna have to be where I can drive a vehicle in there in Fort Sam.
I'm not quite clear on what you said. You have a company vehicle? Do you drive it home?
Oh no, it's in Fort Sam, Houston. I work inside there, and I work just in Fort Sam. So I drive it around because I'm a crew leader.
All right. The court will allow you to drive the company vehicle, if you want to call it that.
Yes, sir.
But only during working hours.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right. Don't forget your thumbprint and talk to Ms. Luna.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Take care.
Mr. Meyer, give me a call later today. I'll get you the affidavit.
Okay.
Todd, what's going on, Todd?
Your Honor, I'm here with Paul Velez still. If you want to do the plea, he's available. He's been on Zoom the whole time since, well, whenever we started at 9 o'clock. He's at work, and when you're calling the names of the pleas, he was walking, trying to get to a private room at work. So I believe that's where he's at now.
Well, if he is, I can't see him as I made clear last time. Where is he? I see the name. That's not
I was hoping he could hear us and get on there.
Marty, go to one with virtual CC.
There he is. There he is.
Okay.
I'm back, my bad.
There we are.
Yeah, I had to take some off time too. My bad.
All right. Mr. Velez,
Yes,
you were
sir.
originally charged with theft, $750 to $2,500. Have you made an agreement on the plea, Mr.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have, Your Honor.
Is there a preliminary motion from the state?
I believe so, Judge.
Hello,
Do you hear me, sir?
Yes,
Kevin or Kenneth?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear Kevin.
Yes, it's me. I'm taking the
All
plea.
And is there an agreement or not?
There is an agreement, yes, sir.
And what is that agreement?
The agreement is for a $300 fine.
Whoa, no, I'm talking about the original charge. It remains as charged?
Yes, sir. No state's motion in this case.
Okay, hold on a second. Mr. Velez, to the charge of theft, $750 to $2,500, what is your plea?
good, he said.
Pardon me?
No contest, he said.
Or
Mr. Velez, a no contest plea is considered a guilty plea in this court. Do you understand that?
yes, sir.
And based on that, I can convict you. You understand that?
Excuse me, sir. What do you mean by that?
Paul, we talked about this.
Oh yeah. My bad.
What I mean is that I can find you guilty and you'll have a conviction on your record for the rest of your life that you committed a theft in the amount that's alleged in the charge, $750 to $2,500.
Yes, sir.
Did you understand that?
Yes, sir. I remember that.
All right, so you have pled no contest. That means in
No, I
this
pled
court,
guilty, sir.
that's a guilty plea. There's a specific reason why your attorney wants you to plead no contest, but it doesn't change the fact that I will or can find you guilty.
Yes, sir.
All right. Is that clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, state, what are you recommending?
Judge, the recommendation in this case is for a $300 fine. Court costs 14 months of deferred adjudication. ATSE, Alternative to Shoplifting Education Course. And 50 hours of community service.
It is agreement, Your Honor.
Do you have children you support, Mr. Velez?
Paul, answer the judge.
I didn't, I don't know. I believe I didn't hear nothing, sir. You didn't.
I asked, do you have children that you support?
No, sir. Well, I mean, my little sister that stays with me, I support her, but I don't know. I'm still living with my parents.
How old is your little sister?
7 years old.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
And you help support her, do you?
Yes, sir.
All right. And what is your total income from all sources?
I work with Pena Delivery. I make about 700 a week.
Right around 3,000 a month. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4 1/3 weeks a month, but I ain't gonna worry about the math. It's around 3,000. All right. I accept the recommendation from the court, from the state rather. I grant you, I find that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. Mr. Velez, you're very fortunate that you got a recommendation of deferred adjudication, because if you finish your conditions and you do everything you're supposed to and you stay out of trouble,
Yes, sir.
you will not have, under Texas law, you will not have a conviction on your record for being a thief.
I need that.
That is something that's really bad to have on your record.
Yes, sir.
So, are you a U.S. citizen?
From San Antonio, yes, sir.
Okay.
But what's it called? I had a question, sir. What's it called? Will the probation be or whatever? Would they have come from it? What's it called? Like since I work out of town? Will they be willing to work with me? Because what's it called? This all Monday through Friday, I was going out of town to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I was gonna work there from Monday to Friday with Pena Delivery.
That's fine with me. I will order that you be allowed to travel to and from for your work.
Thank you, Your Honor.
During that time, you're not, all this time, 14 months, you're not drink any alcohol at all. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And stay away from any illegal drugs, period.
Always.
All right, you will go through the ATSE program, the anti-theft program.
Yes, sir.
You'll do the 50 hours of community service restitution. I will set your supervisory fee at $34 a month.
Yes, sir.
And any other, I don't see anything else. Your fine is $300 plus court costs. All right.
I can't. What's it called? I can't just pay it off and go through the.
Paul, I'll talk to you about all this. I'll talk to you about all this, okay?
All right, cool. All right. I may be excused.
Hold on.
Not yet. You gotta visit with Miss Maricela Luna.
I'm sorry.
That's all jumbled. Hold on, everybody. Mr. Velez, you have to come into the court and put your thumbprint on the documents. They will help you. There's papers that you have to put your thumbprint on. And you have to visit with Ms. Luna. She will guide you on this probation process. You got
All
it?
right, I'm going right now. I gotta go in.
Now, let me emphasize to you, Mr. Velez, you do not want a record of being a thief. I don't know if you have any record of that already, but this was a biggie, 750 to 2,500. Do everything you're supposed to. Don't violate the laws. Don't get into trouble. And that way this thing comes off as it does not stay on your record as a conviction under Texas law. Good luck to you. Stay out of trouble. All right, Mr. Coronado, you're excused. Thank you.
Thank you, Hunter. Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.
I see my missing attorney, Rochelle. Hello, Rochelle.
Hi, Judge. I'm so sorry. I'm like triple zooming.
You're a Zoomer, huh?
I'm a zoomer.
Right.
Judge, I have Mr. Aceves. I had
Yes.
conferred last time. I think I just need to see what the update was. They were going to try and get in touch with the complainant.
Okay, you're going to confer with the state then?
Please, Judge.
All righty. Go ahead and do that. It's 11:06, by the way.
Thank you, Judge.
Anybody else need to check in? Anybody else need to check in with the court?
Judge, may I approach?
Kevin Stone,
Yes, sir.
do you get called Rocky at any time?
Okay, so let's.
The movie, Rocky?
No, because your name is Stone.
No,
Does
it's fine.
anybody
I'll
refer to you as Rocky?
Nope, usually just Stone.
Just those that lack imagination?
So let's see, what's your SID number?
Some people call me Piedra.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. What you got? You wanted to approach, you said?
Yes, sir. So I was talking to Linda about this yesterday, but I will be on vacation for 2 weeks right around when jury trials come back. So I was just wondering if we could kind of get a rough draft of at least the first trial docket of cases so I can go through them with Kenny and prep him on everything that needs to be done.
I don't have a problem with that. I encourage it.
And Linda, again, I'm not trying to make more work for you, but I think it'd be best for Kenny if we just had like a set number of cases and we know which ones they are for that first day.
Okay.
I think I found the list on my side of the system. It is a pretty long list, but if you just want to tell me which ones you're thinking of, I can write them down, or however you want to do it works.
Okay.
What's that chatter?
It's Kenneth. They
Oh,
share an office, I think.
okay.
Yes, we do, unfortunately.
Okay. Pardon me, Joanne, but Bailey, Joanne Bailey. Joanne Bailey's a failure to appear. Justin Falks, did he ever report back on the Hood case? That is,
Yes, they're going to, where is that one? Hold on. Oh, that's on the top. They're going to, I think, term it unsat. But he has another case. I think it's a her, has another case, and we've reset that case for discovery.
okay. The only one left on page one is Ms. Acevedo. Page two. Let's see. James Hassel. James Hassel is a failure to appear. And that takes care of page two, does it not?
Well, what did we do with Ramos Espinosa, Ephraim's client? I had it as an FTA.
Well, he did report.
Okay,
Mr. Ramos Espinosa did come in. He came in at 9:52.
okay,
It was late, but he still came in. I
okay.
have not heard from Mr. Efrain Torres on that particular case.
Okay, I'll ask him because he's probably gonna come in person for the 1:30 plea, so I'll ask him.
The 1:30 is with the interpreter, right?
Yes, we have three of them. Three of them.
Please at 1:30.
Yes, we have three pleas at 1:30. We have, let me see, Juan Resendez on page 4, Mr. Alemans, it's coming back from last week.
Juan Resendez,
From last week.
okay.
On the add-on page, we have Moreno Juan. And then there's one that Roland talked to you about. It's on page 2, Edgar Garcia Escobedo. But they're gonna be on Zoom, so that'll make 3. He was gonna reset it, but he said that they can be on Zoom at 3 o'clock. I mean, at 1:30. So that'll be the 3 Spanish.
But which ones were the interpreter?
Those 3. Escobedo.
All three?
All three
All
are gonna
three?
be. Yes.
Oh, the interpreter.
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Yo.
Hi, Michael Botello here. Sorry, I have not heard from my attorney just yet. I emailed him, called him. I know he's in another hearing, I believe.
We got an email from Cornelius Cox's office saying that he's in the 290th doing a plea. I don't know how long that's gonna take.
Okay, Mr. Botello, hang around.
Yes, sir.
You've got an attorney that's always real busy.
Okay, I just want to make sure I still hang tight and not sign off.
Okie dokie.
Thank you, sir.
Linda, do you mind telling me which cases are set for plea this afternoon?
Yes, I'll tell you. 654-536. 675-598. 613-476.
Thank you.
I'm gonna repeat those for the first two. Juan Resendez is what case number?
Juan Resendez is 675-598.
And Juan Moreno?
613-476.
That's Juan Moreno?
Yes, 613-476 is Juan Moreno.
And what about Garcia Escobedo?
654-536.
654 536.
Yes.
Do I need to go look for them in Adobe or they're already done?
I believe they're all done. No, they should all be done, I think. I'll look, Judge, and I'll go talk to you in a minute.
Judge, if I can approach on Juan Moreno, the only thing I have to do is send out the discovery, but since he was going to be in person, I just went ahead and gave Linda the paperwork so he could sign it down in the courtroom.
That's not completed just yet. Excuse me. All right.
No, actually, he's the one that's gonna come in and sign all of the paperwork because he has no way of doing it through the computer. So I'll be printing it and having him sign everything when he comes in, and Efren will be going over it with him. So I asked him to come in a little early so he can go over it with him before we start doing the pleas.
Okay. Then I think we're through for this morning, are we not? Well,
We have
Ms. Escobedo is, Ms. Acevedo is here.
Yes, Judge, I conferred, Judge, it's gonna be a conditional dismissal. If we could get just a short reset for my client to complete that task. And I believe when we come back, it will be dismissed.
Okay. How much time are you gonna need?
I think 2 weeks would be sufficient.
Very good. Ms. Flores, if you would.
March 11th,
What's the case number? Well, that's on first page, isn't it?
611787.
611787. The case for the late Miss Rochelle Acevedo.
I'm sorry.
Rochelle. Estás muy mal impuesta, muchachita.